Statesville, you know the place to go. Drum Landscape Supply, where gardens grow. From Mooresville to Cornelia, Secret to Taylorsville, they bring the dream to life, they always will. In every town, they got your back. From Moxville to Trumpet's more than that. Experience hands, make your dream complete. Drum Landscape Supply, your garden suite.
Good morning, LKN. Happy Tuesday. A great time to hang out and check in with Jason Drum of Drum Landscape Supply, your local one-stop landscape shop located in Statesville, but Jason and his team delivering to all of Lake Norman. Taking a nice leisurely stroll through the garden this morning, huh, Jason?
Yeah, just getting things checked out here, seeing what's blooming, what I need to work on. Weeding is one of those things I definitely need to work on. The lower growing things that you don't want in there seem to be growing this time of year. So, I'm a regular homeowner myself, and I don't get around to doing everything I need to do. So sometimes you just got to sit down and pull the weeds.
You know, Drum Landscape Supply has over 10,000 offerings. So you do the selling of the things for folks, and I know you deliver as well, but you have 14 years experience. So on the maintenance of this kind of stuff, once it's in our lawn, you talk about the pulling of the weeds. Is it as easy as I can just go over there and yank it out and call it a day? Or what kind of like level of care, you know what I mean, when I'm messing with new plantings or around the areas where there's that, what are some of those things I should keep in mind?
Well, pulling weeds, there's no problem whatsoever with that. I mean, as long as you know what you're pulling, as long as you don't pull a desirable plant, there's no issue there. Really, the issue comes to spraying. Whenever you start spraying, you can cause a little bit more damage than you mean to if you don't take care. And basically, you want, today's an overcast day. They're calling for storms later today, so today would not be the ideal to spray for weeds. Depending on the insect, it might be a good morning to spray for insects if you're trying to actually kill something that's there, not preventative. But knowing what to use and when to use it is a big part of garden maintenance. So, and we're here to help you with that at Drum Landscape Supply.
A little bit of rain yesterday afternoon on the north side there. How do you think the soil and the plants are faring based on the amount of rain we got? Are they thirsty or are they feeling pretty good?
Here at my house, they're thirsty. You can see my lawn is starting to show some signs of summer stress. Just not quite as green as it was. You can see some browning in some different areas that are dry. Actually felt the soil yesterday afternoon, and it's pretty dry here in Hickory, just on the north tip of Catawba County. It's pretty dry out here. We did get sufficient rain for a while, but whenever you get temperatures consistently in the 90s, it's going to dry you out pretty quick. So if you have plantings that you've put in the past year, especially something this spring, trees and shrubs, you're definitely going to want to water it about twice a week. Good deep watering. And that means the best way to do it is with your garden hose yourself, not with a sprinkler. And for most shrubs, you're going to want to water it somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 seconds. Maybe go to watering some other things and then come back to water it for about that same amount of time. So a couple gallons per shrub. Most trees are going to take 5 gallons or more at a time. This is the time of the year that you really want to make sure you get it watered well, because this is really when those roots need that water. They have summer growth ahead of them, heat stress, and it's essential this time of year to make sure you've kept up with the watering that you've been doing all year.
One of the things too, and this is kind of like just more of a random thought. I assume that the mulch and stuff that Drum Landscape Supply sells does not have like some kind of fire retardant sprayed on it or anything. With 4th of July coming up, Jason, I wish I didn't have to say it, but people are out here. You probably shouldn't light fireworks off of mulch beds and things like that. If I had to guess, it's probably just not a smart move to do in the yard.
Well, especially pine straw. So pine straw is one of those things, or pine needles. They are much more likely to catch fire than a bark mulch will. Bark mulch certainly can burn, but usually whenever it's only an inch or two, it's not going to really get hot enough or it's going to take a little bit more effort to make that burn. But your pine needles have been outlawed by a lot of municipalities, especially in the Raleigh, Durham area. So you want to make sure you take care of that. So you definitely don't want to be lighting any fireworks near that. And as far as fire retardants or any other chemicals, you actually cannot have a treated mulch per se sitting outside, because it might run off with the rainfall that we get. So you don't want to. So you can't have that. People ask, is this a treated mulch? You actually can't do that. You can do the treating yourself with a chemical like the bifenthrin for insects, like we've talked about. But yeah, all of our mulches and pine straw are natural. So yeah, keep the fireworks away, especially from the pine straw.
Jason Drum of Drum Landscape Supply, located in Statesville, but delivering to all of Lake Norman. Jason, 10,000 offerings. Your yard is obviously pretty mature. I would call it mature. I don't know if you feel like it's mature. I'm going to call it mature. About how many offerings are you showing across your yard? So if someone wanted to get the idea of, okay, when we say, how many variety can I have in my space? Kind of walk us through here about how many varieties you've got going on.
I've lost count, really. but yeah, I like a lot of variety in my landscape. But the idea here is, even though I have a lot of different plants, most traditional landscape designers wouldn't have as many different plants as I have. It's having the same repeating of color and then texture. So you can see I've got blues, burgundies, and yellows across there. And actually all of these are different plants behind me. And then we'll go over this other shoulder here, and you can see a lot of the natural stone. There's some Japanese maples. So that is the repeat of pattern in a landscape design for me, is the color. It's not necessarily the exact same plant. So you can see I've got natural stone boulders throughout here. And then I'll keep turning around here, and I've got some river rock into a drainidge ditch. And
the boulders look great, by the way. The boulders are a very cool accessory there. Very nice.
Yeah, the idea there is to make it look natural and not just make it look like you have boulders placed randomly throughout. It's to think about what it looks like in the mountains. Boulders generally face the same direction. If you see a mountainside, they generally have the same texture and color. So that's what you want to recreate. I've seen some people take boulders and kind of ends up looking like tombstones in their yard. So just a little bit of careful placement, a little research on how to make it look natural will go a long way.
You have relationships with a bunch of different folks. You've been doing this a long time, right? Even if they're not vendors you use now for whatever reason, positive, negative, whatever, but you know a lot of the players in that. How's it going? You mentioned the rock one, and how difficult that was with Western North Carolina and everything. How's that relationship? What's going on from that perspective?
Yeah, so, there are definitely still challenges there. Transportation getting through is a major challenge. A lot of the rock we sell, these boulders over my shoulder here, they come from the middle to eastern part of Tennessee, and they have been getting tremendous amounts of rain. It's finally starting to dry up there. We had rain there for a solid 2 or 3 weeks. They had rain twice that long, just, twice that long. So getting the materials out can be a challenge. And then, another challenge we face that's across all industries is transportation. And, these things have to move in some way, shape, or form. And trucking just keeps getting more expensive by the month. There's less and less truck drivers out there. An amazing fact about trucking is that the average age, not the oldest, but the average age of a over-the-road truck driver is 69 years old. So that tells you, that's retirement age for a lot of people. But that just tells you what the industry's like and where the holes in the employment are. So, if you're looking to start up a business, be an entrepreneur, you can just work for yourself. I would say being a truck driver, doing trucking like that is going to be a career that's going to, go on for a long time and can be, quite a good business, although it is a very difficult one to be in.
And you never know, you might end up delivering to Drum Landscape Supply, located in Statesville, because with over 10,000 offerings, there is certainly a variety. Getting to this heat, right? July, it's going to get hotter and hotter now through the summer. Stickier, I guess it's more just the weather's changing, right? We're deep into the changes of the weather now. One of the things I'd concern of is kind of a drought necessarily or a browning of the lawns, right? Because things get hot, it gets dry. So what's the maintenance schedule on watering that we should maintain through the summertime, Jason?
Yeah, so depending on the type of lawn you have, I have a tall fescue lawn. So tall fescue is a cool season grass, so it is naturally going to go a little bit dormant or brown out some in the summertime. That's just the natural evolution of things. It's like if you have a Bermuda lawn, they're probably looking their best right now, even if you don't have an irrigation system. But then in the fall, winter is when they go dormant. So don't worry if your lawn browns out just a little bit. Watering it 2 to 3 times a week. You might increase that by an additional time. In the mornings is the time you want to do it. So you don't want to water at night. We mentioned that before. And the reason you don't want to water at night is because it can invite fungus into your lawn, and then you'll have double the problem, a dry lawn and then a fungus lawn. So, just try to do some watering in the morning if you can. If it starts to brown out, don't worry. That's the natural part of things. And the best part about that is the seeding season is just around the corner for turf-type tall fescue. So we're just about 2 months away from the official start of when NC State University says that we should be seeding our lawns in North Carolina.
It's here again already. Jason Drum, Drum Landscape Supply, your local one-stop landscape shop located in Statesville, but delivering to all of Lake Norman, over 10,000 offerings. Jason, we so appreciate you. Happy 4th of July, sir. Jason, your team is closed Friday and Saturday, I believe, this week. Hope they have a great time off celebrating the holiday. We so appreciate you and look forward to catching up again soon.
All right. I hope you all do as well, and hope everybody at home has a safe and happy 4th.
Drive on down to Drums in Statesville town. Got your truck bed empty, but fill it up now. Rock, smokes, and soul for your dream spot. Call them up, they deliver on the dot. From Mooresville to Taylorsville, they got to back, turn yards into wonderlands. That's the fact. Expert hands and friendly smiles, Drum Landscape Supply.